X-Men issue 25 heads to the very beginning of the Mutants Krakoa era, where Kate meets with Susan, complaining that she can't go through the gates, making her worried that she isn't a mutant. Susan asks if it would be so bad if she wasn't, and Kate knows that it would be, and Susan agrees it would be. She knows the girl is going through a lot of weird stuff and has seen a lot in her life, asking Kate if she still believes in God. Kate does so without question, and Susan is glad, deciding it's time for her to leave. She tells Kate that God believes in her, and they have to give in to her ride since there's a plan for them all. But if Kate can't do something all her friends can do, that makes her even more special. 10 weeks ago, Kate arrives back at the old X mansion, phasing through its dilapidated walls. She returns to her old room, retrieving the katanas Ogun gave her years ago and the message from him that reminds her that she will always be the Shadow Cat. Elsewhere, Dr. Stasis addresses all of humanity, reminding them that Orchis is continuing to roll out their special medicine to counteract the poisoned mutant medicine, and they will continue to hunt and destroy the mutants so they will never attack them again. He introduces Firestar as one of the few mutants standing with them against the X-Men, having her demonstrate that the mutants cannot come back through the gateways that they all disappeared through. Stark's Sentinels fly over as Stasis ensures the world that they will pick up the slack left by S.H.I.E.L.D. not existing anymore. Stasis does make it known that if mutants wish to relocate, they will be transported to Mars, while others who do not wish to be mutants anymore can undergo gene therapies to be turned back into humans and reintegrated into society. He does know that some are still battling their forces, led by Captain Krakoa and his Brotherhood, who supposedly have been targeting and killing off politicians in Washington. As Sentinels watch over the White House, Fei Long meets with the President, grateful that he is accepting Orchis' help. The President had hoped that all the mutants would have been dealt with by now, but Fei Long knows that most have left and the few bad apples that remain will be dealt with, hence the Stark Sentinels outside, and the defense system they have built on the moon for when Mars attacks. On top of that, Fei Long reveals that he has developed some war machines and left them above Mars to lock down the planet. He assures the President that the supposed gulag they are running is actually the Henry Gyrich Center for Behavioral Studies, and it's helping keep the mutants safely in custody away from those who will want revenge over their poisoned medicines. He believes that they are lucky that Orchis is compassionate, as Dr. Stasis meanwhile arrives at the prison to see Prisoner 10, entering their cell to have a chat. He is glad the prisoner is awake, knowing that they are in a lot of pain and hates being imprisoned, but they are hoping to make it so that he never feels pain again. He knows the man's broken back is definitely causing him the most pain, wondering if one of Xavier's chairs could help him in this situation. Stasis tells the man that they wish to be just left in peace on Earth, and if he agrees to endorse the official story of the mutant massacre on Krakoa, then he will be tried and convicted, and then he will be free to leave Earth on his own. The mutant, revealed to be Cyclops, refuses to, angering Stasis, who wants Scott to accept his mercy. Stasis knows that having his eyes sewn shut, Scott's eyesight isn't what it used to be, but thanks to the adamantium trap he's in, he could be killed in an instant, so he better start cooperating and see some of the mercy they're trying to offer him. Scott refuses again since the X-Men will help him, but Stasis reminds him that there are no more X-Men and Krakoa is empty. The gateways are shut and humans are calling for their deaths, and it's only a matter of time before the remaining mutants are pulled kicking and screaming out of their holes. Synch meanwhile regroups with his X-Men in the updated Morlock tunnels, meeting with the team and sending Miss Marvel and Rasputin out to scout the Orchis gulag. Kate soon arrives back to the base but doesn't stop since she's heading back out after she rests up for a few hours. Synch tries to talk with his fellow mutant, but she phases back through the wall to her room, prompting him to follow her with her powers. Synch helps tend to Shadowcat's wounds, telling her that Kamala is very afraid of her. Kate is glad since the girl isn't cut out for X-Men work. Synch doesn't agree with that and tells her that Rasputin doesn't either, but Kate knows that Rasputin being there reminds Kate of her failures, both in the past and in the present. Synch believes that Kate is fighting sloppy and getting careless in her war with Orchis, and if they lose her, then they lose their best asset. He reveals to her that he doesn't know why when he syncs with her, he cannot use the gates like she can, and if they lose her, it will be a terrible loss. He does know that she needs some space and wants to give it to her, but she needs to also be part of the team as well. Shadowcat knows that he will get his missions completed and she will be careful from now on, promising her friend as much. Up on Mars, a civil war begins to rage across the planet between the Arachai and the lesser Earth mutants who are being forced to leave save the world or die. Shadowcat, thanks to being able to use the Krakoan gateways, sneaks through Orchis's defenses and arrives in Port Prometheus, spotted by a mutant, but she waves him off as he tries to see if she's the one who testified in front of Congress recently. Kate pushes him against the wall, demanding the mutant compose himself and answer her questions, or the sword she just phased into his body will kill him. She reveals that she is taking a census of sorts of who has survived the attacks, learning the man's name is Woofer and he is from Chicago and the X-Men saved him. He reveals that Orchis came back to the city though after they saved him and kidnapped him and dumped him on Mars to fend for himself. Kate tells him that all the mutants still standing are X-Men now and it's up to them to find Sunfire, Polaris and Forge. She wants him to pay forward his rescue and help others and be a leader in order to help keep everyone safe. Kate gives him a book and tells him to take down the names of everyone and their powers, assuring Woofer she will be back for them, after Woofer creates a distraction to let her go of course. Woofer starts a fight with a nearby Iraqi as Kate disappears through a gateway. The Iraqi thinks that anything Woofer owns will be his by law, but Woofer quickly diffuses the situation, asking if the mutant has ever seen any mutant named Polaris or Forge. 10 weeks prior, Forge wakes up after a drink celebrating his new homelessness initiative and treehouse he was going to unveil, finding himself on an alien world. Not only that, he discovers that he cannot go back through the Krakoan gateway in front of him. His concern turns to the vault back on Earth, which at the same time is opening, freeing the children of the vault from their simulated world. At the same time, a disguised Emma Frost and Kamala Khan return to Kamala's family home. Emma, posing as Tony Stark's personal assistant Hazel Kendall again, waits outside, telling Kamala that she knows the girl is afraid of seeing her family, but they will be overjoyed to see her, and some aren't that lucky. Kamala dreads telling her family who she really is, but believes she must since she's been hiding it for too long. Emma, however, takes over Kamala's mother's mind, answering the door and revealing that she took off her inhibitor ring. Emma reveals that her family will believe that she was away on a school trip, and all the memories of her or Miss Marvel's death will be erased. Emma knows they will never know how complicated and brave Kamala is, or that she is an Inhuman, a mutant, or Miss Marvel. Kamala is glad they won't have to deal with the trauma of what happened to her, thanking Emma, who tells the girl to forget that she is a mutant and to stay away from the X-Men, since she has a chance to get out. Emma puts her inhibitor ring back on as the Stark Sentinels begin searching the area. She tells Kamala that she needs to keep her mask on and to keep her family safe. Kamala's family wakes up and the hero reunites with them as in the present, Emma tells Miss Marvel that she broke her promise of staying low, but Kamala knows that what is happening to the mutants is wrong and she won't be told to hide out. Emma warns her not to underestimate their enemies as the Uncanny Avengers and Tony Stark arrive. Synch welcomes the heroes back to their base, telling him that they have a way to get into Orchis. The teams exchange information and go their separate ways, never meeting for very long. Emma meets with Kate, wanting to know what happened to her when she fell through the gate back at the gala. 10 weeks earlier, Kate falls through the gateway into the Jerusalem treehouse, quickly surrounded by Orchis soldiers. The men grab Kate and she learns the gateways not only are closed to mutants, but humans as well. Kate attacks, destroying their radios and demanding they surrender and she'll make sure they are treated well. The men burst out laughing, planning on telling Command that she resisted arrest. They make fun of an Omega level mutant who was supposedly trained by Charles Xavier, begging for her life, but Kate thinks that they are worrying about the wrong teacher of hers, telling them that when they get to hell, to tell Ogun to say hello. Kate attacks, killing the leader instantly by phasing his own gun through his head, telling him that while Krakoan law says to murder no man, she guesses with no Krakoa that law doesn't apply anymore. Kate kills her way through the men, intending to keep the knowledge of her being able to pass through the gates and being the only one who can a secret. One does try to use his radio to call for help, but Kate phases his armor into his neck, suffocating the man. Soon only one man is left, pleading that the X-Men saved him while up on the Bloom one time. Kate knows that the X-Men save everybody they can, including their enemies, but it's a shame those X-Men are dead now. She snaps the man's neck, killing him instantly, and as the adrenaline wears off, Kate hides the bodies inside the roof and returns to the X-Mansion to get her swords, giving birth once again to the Shadowcat. In the present, Kate tells Emma that nothing happened, wanting to get on with her war. Emma wants to as well and wants to coordinate with Synch and everyone else, but Shadowcat leaves, telling her that she doesn't need any help and she is going to kill Firestar for betraying them.